Good morning, everyone. How do I look in my rose vestment? When you have a natural tan like me, it looks good, all right? I was teasing Father Andrew about that. You know, I'm wearing rose today because on this third Sunday of Advent, we're called to rejoice and rejoice. And you know, one of the places where I like to go to have fun is actually Disneyland. I worked for Disney for 8 years, and one of the places where I actually like to relax, believe it or not, is Disneyland. And one of my favorite nights of the year to go, here's a little tip for you. The Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend, after about 4 p.m., nobody's there. Because all the out-of-staters, now you guys are going to go and ruin my night, huh? But yet nobody is there because all the out-of-state people are going back home and people are getting back into work mode and school mode. So I went like I do every year, and I went with my friend, and we had a really good time. The park was empty. You know, I even had the 5:30 Mass here. I was there by 8. We went on a lot. And we were in line for the Haunted Mansion. You know the Haunted Mansion, right? And I was ready to go in, and I heard a loud voice cry out, "Nino!" I didn't say anything, and he's like, "Nino, Father Ricky." So then I turned around, and I recognized that voice. It was one of my favorite godchildren, and he's very mischievous, just like me. And I saw his face, and he texted me. He said, "Look at your phone." He texted me. He said, "I want to introduce you to somebody." All right? I noticed he was with a young lady, right? And this godson in particular, let me tell you, I was never fond of any of his girlfriends. None of them, right? None of them. So I'm thinking, oh boy, how appropriate I meet them in the Haunted Mansion, right? So I said, okay. So I waited, and the line was long, and so about 40 minutes he came over, and he was on Main Street, and I was on Main Street rather, and he introduced me, and can you imagine introducing to your godfather who's a priest, right? It's a little overwhelming. And of course, the first question I ask, are you Catholic, right? And they always say, please don't ask, but I have to ask, because they tell me not to. And I had actually heard that she was, so I was safe in asking that. And she was instantly, I could tell that they loved each other, right? And without even provoking it, she said, "I now bring him to Mass." And that, of course, made me full of joy and, of course, happy. And it made sense to me because they prayed together, and I could see the joy that they have. And I'm sure you've encountered that in your own life, right? When you deeply love somebody, and you want to share the goodness of Jesus, right? And then he called me the next day, and he said, "I think she's the one." I said, "All right." And it made me so happy because I remember him as a very mischievous teenage boy, and all the things he did, and to see him now practicing his faith put a smile on my face. Because that's where we encounter joy in our life, don't we? When we see people that we love doing well, it puts a smile on their face, should it not? And when you see people doing well, that is the joy of Jesus. And the joy that we hear in all three readings today is something that God has given to each and every one of us. But it's our decision whether we want to live full of the spirit of joy or if we want to be grumpy. So if you want to be grumpy, stand up and leave now, okay? Because for a disciple of Christ, no matter what we're going through, no matter how hard it is, there's always something that we should be grateful for. So our second reading particularly tells us to be joyful. That doesn't mean we ignore our struggles or our trials or what's going on in the world. But we need to choose to find joy despite our circumstances. Some of the happiest, peaceful people I have visited as a priest are terminally ill, are dealing with great circumstances. How about smiling at each other, right? We have a lot of grouches in the Catholic Church, right? Sure, there's none at Holy Family, right? But you think about it, a smile goes a long way. And if we remember that our true home is in heaven, and that all of our struggles and sufferings are temporary, in heaven there's no illness, there's no age. In heaven, we're going to eat and actually lose weight up there, right? The Dodgers are going to win the World Series every year. It's going to be glorious, all right? So when you're going through those difficult moments, remember, our true joy comes in heaven one day. And sometimes we get so caught up in the trials of this world, we will forget that. Our readings are also reminding us to be prayerful, to stay connected to God throughout the day. I hope one of the first things that we do when we wake up is we should just thank God for the fact that we woke up, right? That God is giving us another day. We show our prayer by acts of kindness and doing good works. Let's be honest, this is the most wonderful time of the year, but it's also the most stressful, is it not? It is. We have a lot on our calendars, a lot of demands. We're being pulled in different directions. So I challenge us in this coming week just to spend 5 minutes of silence, 5 minutes of silence in prayer so we can stay connected to God. And finally, we are called to be thankful. Has God blessed each and every one of us, yes or no? Okay, about 50% of you. That's good to know. Okay? We're all blessed. We need to show that gratitude to God by thanking Him through our prayer, but also thanking each other. When's the last time you thanked a family member, for just being the good person that they are, being part of your life? I went back this morning. In the Filipino culture, they have this beautiful tradition called Simbang Gabi. And it's 9 days of masses early in the morning. In the Philippines, they do it as early as 4 a.m. But the mass I got invited to was, they were sleeping in. It was only 5:30 a.m., right? So I started by day, and this community knows me, and they were asking, how are you doing at Holy Family? Are you surviving? And I said, I'm happy. I'm thankful. And they said, that makes us happy. So I want you to know I'm thankful for all of you. I'm thankful to be here. And I want to tell you that today. So let's tell those people in our life that we appreciate them, that we love them. Next week, God willing, we're going to gather with people that we love. Be that bridge builder. Tell that family member that maybe is the outcast how loved they are. Thank them for the person that they are. So let's do that in this final days of Advent. Let's remind each other how grateful we are that we have each other in our lives, that our diversity is a gift and it builds us up. So my friends, we have so much to be thankful for, that there should be joy in our life, no matter what we're going through. You've heard me say this before, and I laugh about it because my last parish was called Holy Trinity, right? And the neighboring parish was Holy Family in Glendale. And I always used to say, if you're a grouch, go to Holy Family. Now I can't say that, right? I have to say, my mom prays for you guys every day. She prays for every parish I've been at. And my mom always says, I could tell those people are full of joy. And I said, they are, Bob. They are. And that says a lot about you as a community. But our job is not to just be full of joy here. Our real work begins once we go to our work, once we go to our families, once we leave, So let's bring that joy of Jesus to each other. The world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs your smile. The world needs the good person that you are. So don't be afraid to bring the joy of Jesus to one another. Amen? So how has God blessed you? Tell Him right now in the silence of your hearts and let Him know how thankful you are.